Hello, everyone. In the Bible, we hear a lot about shepherds. What do shepherds do? That's right, they take care of sheep. They take care of sheep by leading them, protecting them, and making sure they get a lot of food and water. Taking care of sheep is an important job and a hard job. When I went to the Holy Land, I got to see a lot of shepherds taking care of sheep, and they were always watching, always working, always caring for the sheep. Have you ever seen a shepherd? Jesus calls himself the Good Shepherd, and all those who follow him would be like sheep. And just like sheep, without the guidance of Jesus, our Good Shepherd, we would go astray or lose our way. We have a beautiful reminder of the Good Shepherd at our church, Christ Church. Look for the picture with the windows today. This morning, we're going to wonder about what the shepherd's most important tool might be to get the sheep to follow. But first, let's think about some other jobs and the tools that are important doing those jobs. Does anyone know what we call a person who builds or makes things out of wood? That's right, it's a carpenter. And you may remember that Jesus' earthly father, Joseph, was a carpenter. What tools do you think a carpenter might use? Well, I have one here today. Carpenters use hammers. They also use saws and nails and a lot of other things in order to make things out of wood. A person would need this hammer if they were a carpenter. A person who plays and knows music is called a musician. Musicians practice and study hard, but they need tools to make music. What do you think this tool is? That's right, a uke. And Father Daniel and Mr. Gossard and others use ukes like this. But without an instrument, the musician cannot make music. Instruments are their most important tools. Oh, another thing. I wonder what this is. Oh, a brush. That's right. Who might use that? An artist. An artist might use this as a tool. Well, we know that shepherds in the Bible times were able to get their sheep to follow them. What tool did they use? What might be the shepherd's most important tool in getting their sheep to follow them? That's right, the shepherd's voice. The shepherd used his voice to call the sheep. The sheep followed him because they knew and trusted the shepherd's voice. In fact, this was the only voice they would follow. Today, our choir director will chant a lovely version of the 23rd Psalm. Our choir director's name is David, the same name as the David who wrote the psalm. I wonder if the David who wrote the psalm had a beautiful voice like our David does. The psalm says that the sheep will follow the voice of the shepherd to the cool waters and the green grass and places of rest. The shepherd will also be with the sheep in scary or dangerous places too. In our gospel today, make sure and listen for the part where Jesus' sheep hear his voice and how he knows them and their names and how they follow him. Jesus, our Good Shepherd, calls us to follow him. We hear his voice when we read and listen to God's word, and Jesus speaks to us in a shepherd's voice today. It is the voice of promise. It is a voice of hope. Sometimes other voices seem to drown out, and we have to work very hard to listen. Even if we don't always stop long enough to listen, the Good Shepherd is always there, comforting and encouraging us on. Thanks for listening.